Hi, welcome back to Public Administration, and we are on Module 14, so we're covering Chapter 13 of our text, and so this is the final chapter of the book. And this week there is no video or extra reading that you have to complete. We're just going to get through the final chapter of the book, and so this looks at the future of public administration. And, there's some good questions raised in this section. And, as time goes on, we do have more questions about where we're going to go with public administration, and how public administration will change due to changing technology and political environments. So, you're going to read, of course, the chapter 13 of the text. You're going to complete the discussion on discussion 13, so you're going to go back and have your discussion about the My Lai massacre using Phil Zimbardo's lens. And I hope you see how this works out. In public administration, we're trying to solve problems. In studying administrative ethics, you really get an idea for how bad things can get or how to try to make things better. So there's a positive and negative side to that story. So that's what we study in administrative ethics. And that's actually, like I said before, an area that really draws a lot of people into this field. Zimbardo, if you read his book, The Lucifer Effect, it's very administrative in nature and discusses different breakdowns and how there's consistencies around the world. And, this is basically a truth around the world that you'll have certain situations arise that will allow for some really bad things to happen. And if you look at psychology, what he did was he studied situations. So him and Milgram actually went to the same high school in the Bronx. They both grew up in neighborhoods that had a lot of people who were survivors of the Holocaust. And so there was a common discussion in the Bronx and in New York City about how something like the Holocaust can happen. So in public administration, that's exactly what we study. A case that we generally use is about Eichmann, who was a bureaucrat with the Germans. And he actually went on trial and was executed for being a public administrator. He is a fascinating case. He basically said that what he did was wrong in the eyes of God, but for the laws of man, he was basically following the rules. His rules led to people getting killed, a lot of people getting killed, and he was executed for that. And that is a really fascinating story. I used to use the Eichmann case in this class, but this is this one I think works a little better because you get to actually see a good side with the evil side. But if you are interested in this, the case of Eichmann is very interesting to look at, and it's something that I think every student should study at some time or another. So you're going to have that discussion, and again, log on 3 different days and have your 3 posts. And I'm sure you're understanding I do this now. If you log on the 3 times and you do your initial post, you get the grade for it. And this is really done because I really believe that learning is a social process, and you'll get a lot more out of having a discussion with each other and having some time to reflect on it than you would from an automated PowerPoint or me just reading through lecture notes. The book is very, very difficult. I know that, and the quizzes are very hard, and this gives you an opportunity to recover points because, like I said, I know the tests are hard. This book covers a ton of information, so it's partly done to help you out too and help boost your grade along with the drop boxes. So have that discussion. Post 2 initial posts to discussion 13. That should be 14. I'll change that to discussion 14. And there's no more reading for the class, so just the chapter of the book, and that's really it. unless you're interested in doing extra credit, which I do hope every single person takes advantage of. So we have the paper due on next Sunday at midnight. Session 14 is here. There's the quiz, and we have extra credit opportunity. And I did post this earlier this weekend, but I'll go over what I expect here. So you're going to post a link to an article that discusses any aspect of public administration. So I want you to write 1 to 2 paragraphs explaining why you chose this article and how it's administrative in nature. As you can tell by now, public administration is a very, very broad subject. In fact, I think this class should be taught over the course of 2 semesters just to make things a little easier, but it doesn't work out that way. So, because it's a broad subject, you're going to find an article, for this extra credit assignment. And like I said, I hope everybody does this. And in this article, you're going to just try to find something that's administrative in nature. And so this shouldn't be very hard. In fact, there's a ton of public administration in the news. So we're looking all the way from the president all the way down. You could bring this down to your local street sweeper or your teacher. But public administration is all around us. So this is something that, like I said, I hope you all do. It will help show me that you have understanding of what public administration is. I told you guys before, this is a very, very broad subject. Public administration could be almost anything. So I don't want you walking away from this class saying, what is it? I want you to understand that this is a lens to view fixing problems. If you look at how we formally fix problems, we use social policy, and public administration is where the rubber hits the road with this policy. So this is the policy being implemented. If you haven't taken social policy before this, I really hope you sign up for it next semester. If you're taking it now, that's great. And if you've taken it before, you're understanding more of how policy works, because this class is about the personal implementation of the policy. So you're just going to post an article for us to read and explain why it's public administration. And what we'll do is next week in our finals week, you'll have a chance to earn a little bit extra credit points on top of this if you read other people's papers and you have a discussion about that. So it should be a pretty fun assignment. Like I said, it shouldn't take too long. If you're having a hard time, flip on the news for a little bit, find a story, and then go look up an article online about it, or you could even use a news clip online as long as you can link to one. I'll be fine with a news clip too. So it does say article, but I will take a news clip. Your paper, again, is due at the end of the week. Make sure it is 5 complete pages of text. When you're looking at public administration, I hope you're realizing that it's ongoing job of trying to identify and fix problems. And this happens at different speeds, but this is going to be you breaking down an administrative problem. It could be something that happens really quick, like officer-related shooting that happens in a matter of a second. But I would argue that all of these steps go through a very, very rapid transition in the officer's mind. And as soon as something happens, whatever happens, they pop back to number 1 and work their way down. So we work in this circle. This paper is written using this 5-step method, which comes out of Delft. So it's out of the Netherlands, and this is what they use for evaluating policy problems on the personal level. So it's I think it's a very good assignment because you understand what's going on with policy problem solving on the individual level. Some people have chosen to write broad discussions, and that is fine, and that's a great idea. But this paper, the end of it is just your policy enforcement evaluation. It's not going to be a typical conclusion because you just ended a process just to start it all over again. So it's an ongoing deal with your job, basically. And like I said, every single administrator deals with this. As a teacher, I deal with this every semester. I try to figure out what problems I have with prior classes, and I try to work through fixing them. And so it's an ongoing process for everything. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me on D2L. I've been getting some emails on the regular college email. I don't answer that quite as often. I don't check it as regularly, and that's where I deal with a lot of my administrative stuff. So my bosses and colleagues send me emails on there, but I'm more likely to see an email on D2L. And if I miss it, I have a clear, I can clearly see that I missed it, and I have missed things before, and I was able to catch that and apologize and try to fix that. But make sure you get back to me on this system. All right, well, have a great weekend. It should be warm weather, so I hope you're looking forward to finally not having so much snow. All right, thank you.